Great minds. Welcome to
All right.
Great Minds, everyone.
Hey, can you see me? Hi, we're live on Facebook. So we're live Facebook,
Yes,
we're live Instagram, and we are live
we are
on
live.
uh, on YouTube. Yes. All right. So let me sit properly so that we can be seen. I could be seen on both IG and Facebook. Welcome everybody to Great Minds. We ran a little late tonight, but our topic nonetheless is still extraordinary important. We're talking about feeling it to heal it, feel it to heal it, and it's about working through your past wounds and healing through them. Tonight, we're only going to do a half-hour session, and it's really going to be dedicated about giving you some tools to use to work through your healing process and your healing journey. And so I'm going to get started by simply saying this. We all, at some point in our lives, have something that we have to work through. Every time I talk about healing, I talk about making sure that we don't think that it has to be a huge trauma or one of the ones that people talk about, like physical abuse and those types of abuse. That
Hmm.
trauma is your trauma, and what that means is whatever is traumatic to you can cause you problems down the line. um, so when we're talking about healing, it's not about forgetting what you've been through or forgetting the things that's caused you problems, because you're never going to forget them. So there's no way to for us to sit around and try to get anybody to forget that stuff. It's not going to happen. Um, it's really about working through it, finding what those things are, and nurturing that part of you, and nurturing, hey Angel, and nurturing um, the part of you that you feel needs healing. So you won't forget it. It's going to always
Right.
be there. You're going to nurture it. So it's like anything else. If you nurture something and you give it love and you give it care, it will be well, right? But if you suppress something, ignore something, pretend it's not there, guess what's going to happen? In this instance, it's going to hurt you. In the other
Hmm.
instance of a thing, a plant, a child,
Hmm.
that
Gonna
thing
die.
will die. We need most of all in our lives is connection. Hey, Angel, and hey, Trinace. We need
Hey.
connection in our lives, and we need to feel that we're connected to something or someone. And a lot of times when we have dealt with trauma, it's because we something that happened have caused us to feel disconnected, to have a lack of trust, and it can really spiral into a lot of different areas of our lives.
Right.
So, my question is, how does your trauma show up for you today? How do you carry your trauma today? What does it look like in your everyday today? And then my other question is, do you know? Do you even know? Because a lot of us are carrying this trauma with us. It's showing up in our everyday lives.
Hmm.
It's it's leading our lives. So instead of us creating and our
Hmm.
space in our life, this thing is leading our lives. And because we're not aware of it and we're not aware how it's leading our lives, it continues to do so. And it will continue to do so for as long as we'll allow it to.
So, right.
So Trinae says there is no such thing as forgive and forget. Ignoring isn't forgiveness or forgetting. No,
Right.
it is not.
Wow.
That is really true. And that's what a lot of us do. We ignore it. And we will pretend that it's not happening, and we pretend it's not there, and we just keep pretending, and then we live a life of pretense. So Do you know, cousin? I know I'm about to put you on the spot. I'm going to
Mhm.
try not to tell any stories like I did last week that had you go, oh, I'm not going to do that to you this week. Yeah, no, I promise.
Okay, good.
I'm going to keep my stories to
Minimal
to
today.
a minimal today. Today, I really just want to provide some tools. So Angel says awareness is essential. Yes, it is. And that's where
Mhm.
we have to start. We have to start with the awareness. So first of all, before I give you the tools I want to share, I want to say it is very important that we get support when we are ready
Mhm.
to work on or go on that journey. It
Right.
is also important that you do you. I'll keep saying that because my daughter used it and it made me crack up a couple of days ago. So you do you, meaning your journey is your journey. You have to do it your way and you have to do it
Mhm.
on your time. You
Yeah.
cannot heal the way somebody else tells you
Mhm.
it's the way to heal, or nor can you heal when you're rushed or pushed or feel forced to do it in a time frame that is not for you. So that's first and foremost. Next thing, we're told to just be strong. I know, Trinace, and that
Right.
is probably one of the worst things. And you know who has it the worst when it comes to we're told to just be strong? Are men. They
Oh
have
yeah.
it the worst because they were taught, a lot of them, not
Mhm.
generalizing, not
Mhm.
to what, cousin, you're about to
Not to
share.
cry.
Yes, not to cry. Mm-hmm.
Not to show emotion.
Not to show emotions.
Yes, and this has turned our society of men, kind of messed with their mind and their thinking, and they're unable to express themselves. It's like pressure and pipe. You know what I say about
Oh
that?
yes, it's like a pressure cooker. It's
Mhm.
like a pressure cooker. So Trinae says we're told just to be strong, and
Be
I'm not, and
strong.
it's the women too. So I'm going to share
Mhm.
that that's us too, and a lot of it for us women is us trying to be so independent, and suppressing our things because we're trying to be independent, but um for men it's that gender thing that they're taught, don't cry, men don't
Mhm.
cry, da 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 da.
Yes.
All of those things, guys, that's wrapped up in what we call trauma is not just the big ones, it's not just the
Mhm.
abuse and all the other things. It's the things that you were told to do, not to do, how to do, those
Do it.
things growing
Mhm.
up. And those things have shaped us. And there are times when you feel yourself living, but you're not completely living free. You don't feel free. You feel constricted a bit. And that has a lot to do with some of the things that we were taught. So it's important as we're talking about healing to make sure you get support. You can get support by way of a mentor, a coach, a therapist, a psychologist. You can even see your doctor because sometimes your primary care doctor will deal with helping you through these traumas.
Mhm.
So it is important that you get support when you're ready. It's very important that you get support if you're feeling great effects of trauma, this trauma, any type of depression that's holding you back, or any type of thoughts that are not constructive, like suicidal thoughts, or any type of things that's really holding you back. It's important that you seek that help like ASAP. Now that I would say rush and get help, right? If it's taking you into dark places, and it happens to a lot of people.
Mm.
So Erica says, yes, our men were traumatized with that expectation of strength. I want a man that is vulnerable and comfortable with being
Being
authentic.
authentic.
Yes.
Yes.
And it's so difficult to get, and I'm not saying all men, there's a lot of men out
Mhm.
there that's open and vulnerable, but on a whole, society has got these expectations that
Mhm.
continue to put. And it's very difficult for them to be vulnerable and allow themselves to work through to heal. Erica said, time to rewrite those scripts.
Right.
Absolutely. Change the narrative.
Definitely.
We've got to change the narratives. We can't keep rolling with the same old, especially when it's not helping. Pseudo happiness, pseudo strength. That's exactly right. It's not real. It's pretend. It's really pretend. Yes, that's a good round. Rewrite the script.
Yes.
So we talked about, it's not about forgetting, it's about working through it. We talked about putting your own time on your own pace. We're talking about healing from past wounds. And last week we touched on a bunch of different ones, and we talked about them coming from childhood a lot of the times. And I even walked you through a bit about your inner child and how to tap into that inner child and talk to them and nurture them and, let them understand that they're not that girl or boy anymore. So we talked about that last week. And last week it was cool because cousin Nerisa had a memory in her white dress. Did you think any more about that memory?
Yeah, I thought about it. I thought not just of this memory. I just started thinking about birthdays because it was a birthday. I just started thinking about birthdays and knowing mine is coming up in like 2 or 3 months. I am, I'm excited about that. But yeah, nothing in depth that I went in about that. I was just thinking, and then we spoke a little bit afterwards about it, and that was basically it. I never go in depth of anything specifically.
But there was something that came up. It wasn't just the white dress and the birthday one. There was something that happened at that birthday. You had a disappointment.
Oh yes.
Yeah. So our memory, it was really neat because
remember? And afterwards I told you that it wasn't even the first disappointment. It was the same disappointment. I told you I was 8? And then at age 16, the same thing happened. With somebody else. But
And then you said to me, and that type of disappointment happens to me all the time. Right? Okay.
Yeah.
So the reason we're dialoguing about that is that a simple tap into her subconscious brought up a birthday memory. And in that birthday party memory was a disappointment. She was 8 years old, and the little boy up the street was supposed to come down and cut the cake with her. He was 8 years old too, and he didn't show up. And that was a big disappointment for her. And then she remembers something like that happened again at 16.
Right? And then it happened again at 32.
And then it happened again at 32. And this time it was in a huge way. And maybe if she keep looking between the ages, she may find that disappointment happened prior. So it's just know that even that little thing we did last week, which was not she was not hypnotized, none of that. We just had a closed eye visualization that lasted for less than 3 minutes, and it popped a memory that has a pattern for her through her life. So just go ahead.
Cousin Stacy, she was able to help me remember the last one that happened almost 2 years ago, and I was like, oh yeah, that's so true.
Yes. And
but
it was
I guess
huge.
because I don't dwell on, it was huge. And because I don't dwell on, the negative and all of those things. So yes, that happened. And it was one of the best days of my life, even though they did what they did to me. It was spectacular. So I just try to remember the good thing or the great thing that happened that particular day. So you had to remind me that, that did happen, But
Well, that's my job, right? Is that I link all these memories to go, OMG, look at that. But so before I talk about some of the tools that you can use, thank you everybody for joining. We're talking about healing and some of the tools you can use for healing. Think about how your past traumas affect your life. How do you show up today? How is it affecting how you show up today? How is it affecting your life, your relationships, and all parts of your relationships. Work, it affects work, it affects home life, it affects money life, it affects everything you can think of if it's not addressed. If you're running around with the pseudo happiness and the pseudo strength, if you're not going after it in a way where, my question is, don't you want to live instead of just surviving? Don't you
Or
want to,
existing.
yeah, do you just want to exist, or do you want to thrive and
I
live?
want to
And
live.
yeah, and don't you want to get up and feel joy and happiness every day instead of feeling like you're in that pressure cooker from the past?
Yes.
Right? And some of the ways it affects us is not just from a mental perspective. You have to really cure that mind to cure the body. It's a mind-body connection. And so when you are going through those old wounds and you're suppressing them and they're inside and it's hurting you, it affects your hormonal level, which is why a lot of us women, we get things like, somebody's on there when you get a minute, see what she's saying. We get things, she said, what is the topic tonight? The topic tonight is healing.
Okay.
Go ahead.
And then she mentioned, Nerissa, I just thought about messaging you. She was about to message me about letting me letting go and open up Instagram, which I haven't done in a while, and look what I ran into. So we are always talking. I'm you in her life. Like you're me.
We all need that. We all need that support. That's very important.
So she's telling me, and I was telling, we were just talking, and she's just so like, wow, look what she ran into. So yes. Good, Twanza.
Awesome.
Thank you so much for joining. Hi, Ellie, Barry. Thank you for joining.
And this is alignment. Yes. So Trinae says, I just keep going and don't even acknowledge the disappointment. Okay. So Trinae, I'm about to talk about that. So let me say this and tell you about when you keep going, what happens to you. So it affects your body. It affects your hormonal level. It affects your immune system. It causes us a lot of ailments when we have these things in that pressure cooker that we won't release, we won't let go, we won't acknowledge. And like Trinae is saying, I just keep going. And you find yourself not just going, but going really fast. We move at warp speed and we never slow down. We don't know how to, that's a trauma response when you see a person that can't settle. Because what happens when you settle is that you have to deal with the thoughts of the thing that you don't want to deal with. You have to deal with the thoughts of the thing that makes you uncomfortable, right? So that's why, Trinae, you're saying, I keep going and don't even acknowledge the disappointment. But that's nothing healthy about that. I'm just going to be honest with you. Been there, done that. And it was not healthy. It is not healthy. It feels very like something is like you're in a tight space, almost claustrophobic, but you don't know how claustrophobic it is until you release it. And then you're like, whoa, that feels good.
And that becomes very overwhelming, and overwhelming is not good. I remember once we were talking about like the first 2 weeks into doing so, and we were talking about because we're sometimes we go to the doctor and the doctors don't know what's happening to us. Sometimes they say stress or whatever, but it's when we don't take care of our mind.
Yes.
We're always just looking at our body and, what's on the outside, but we have to take care of our mind because, without this being right, everything else will go wrong.
Yes.
So we have to, as much as we don't like confrontation or as much as we don't like to address certain things, we have to address it. And it's good because those people that we need to let go has to go, and they won't know, or you won't realize that they have to go until you've confronted that issue or that situation.
And sometimes it's not even, you don't even have to confront them straight up, because this
Yes.
is not about them, this is about
Hmm.
you.
Well, meaning confronting it for
Yes.
yourself. You don't have to go in front of somebody, but
No,
acknowledge that, listen, this is happening. It's not healthy. I just have to go. Mean, yeah,
absolutely.
all
Absolutely.
right.
So you have a
Yes.
comment? Yeah.
It lingers because you reflect on those moments whenever your mind or your body slows down.
Yes, and that's a good thing. Believe it or not, that's a great thing. But then it's what you do with that when you start
Mm-hmm.
reflecting. And I'll give you some tools in a minute, because that's fantastic. If you find yourself and your mind keeps lingering there,
Mm-hmm.
good. Acknowledge that. And then say, okay, now this is what I need to do to fix that, right? So that's
Mm-hmm.
not a
Right.
bad thing at all. That's a good thing. Erica
Mm-hmm.
says, someone once told me to tell the little girl in me that we're okay and she can be free and flee. And she put a smiley face, because I think I know who that someone is. Yes, you've got to acknowledge these things.
Mm-hmm.
So the person on IG that said the moments to reflect, when you get quiet and you slow down, those moments will come up, and you
Mm-hmm.
start to think about them. That's a good thing. But then that's the time when you ask yourself, how old am I in this thought?
Mm-hmm.
So when you start thinking about that, how old am I in this thought? And then you acknowledge how old you were, and you put
Mm-hmm.
perspective to it at that age.
Mm-hmm.
The people that were involved, what happened, what you heard, put perspective in it at that age. But then you remind yourself of how old you are today. And that's my whole concept of that inner child work, where you say, I'm not that person anymore. I'm not 5, I'm not 6. You're not
Mm-hmm.
8 anymore, where,
Right. Right.
you
Right.
show up for the cake. You're a married man, you're a married woman. You got a man who
Mm-hmm.
showed up for the cake. You know what I mean?
Right. He brought the
He
cake.
bought the cake. So, we have to put things in perspective each time. And Trinae says, I'm going to have to text you what I think it created. Okay, I can't wait to hear this, Trinae. So we got to talk about that. And Angel says, yes, it's like running away. She's talking about when we suppress and we don't acknowledge.
Mm-hmm.
It is like running away.
Right.
Very unhealthy. Trinace, I know it isn't healthy. No, baby girl, it's not. Trust me, it is the worst that we could do to ourselves, because then we're not living. We're not even surviving. We're existing.
Mm-hmm.
And an
Right.
existing life is not a happy, and it's not a healthy life. An existing life feels really bad, but you don't
Mm-hmm.
know how bad it feels until you're outside of that existing life. But what you do know is that something is missing, because your body will respond to that missing something. That's where the headaches come, the backaches,
Mm-hmm.
all of those aches.
Mm-hmm.
That's where the fibromyalgia, the cystics,
Mm-hmm.
fibros, all of those
All of
hormonal
those.
things that we get, because we're just existing.
Mm-hmm.
And Coretta says, agree with Trinae's,
It's not
absolutely
healthy. Yeah.
not healthy. Um, and then Erica says, when you hold it in, you're like a snake. She always have the best analogies. You're like a shaken bottle of soda that gets opened and then explodes. Oh my gosh, yes. I am intentionally working on being a bottle of water. Shake me all you want, open me, and I'm still a
Still
calm,
calm and refreshed
refreshing
and
quencher. That's
quencher. I
hilarious.
like that. I
I
am
love
water.
it. Yeah, I love
I
that.
love that. I really do. I really do.
Erica
But
always
yes,
with some. Go ahead. Okay.
but look at just look at your past life, like probably when you were younger, and how we were so fierce. We weren't worried about what other people think. We were just so innocent, and we were happier because we just address things as they come. We weren't bottling everything up. We were just saying it as we go, and at that time we are just so much more happier
Yes.
when we address things. The less things that's on our mind, the more we can be ourselves.
Yes.
Less thing that we have to worry about, it makes us happier. It's like, you know how you are going through a situation, and once you overcome that, you feel like, oh Lord, it's like a whole weight come off my shoulder. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that is just like that. We just, it's probably rough while we're doing it, but once we've gotten over that hill, it's just smooth sailing going down. Yes, Melissa, yes.
You said it's probably rough. I'm
Well,
sorry, cuz it is rough.
horrible. The last 3 weeks for me was
Yes.
horrible at work. But guess what? I overcome. It's like I don't know what happened. I went from 1,000
Mm-hmm.
to 34
Mm-hmm.
at my job, like number 34 versus almost 2,000 people that works there. And I was
Right.
like, wow. Till when my supervisor told me, I was like, are you sure this is the right person? But
Mm-hmm.
that was just something I was struggling with. And you know what? I just prayed about it. I was like, I can't take this. This is just too much.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just so overwhelmed. And then I just dealt with it. And then it was just smooth sailing. And I have something else to say.
Mm-hmm.
Embracing your flaws also helps. Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes,
Absolutely.
Moisha, definitely.
So Trinae says,
Definitely.
until you are feeling good and free. And feeling good. I'm sorry, I gotta say it right. Free. Because Trinace's word is about freedom. And freedom comes in a lot of different packages. And I understand that so much. But
Mm-hmm.
listen, one of the things that you talked about is just how you feel, right?
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes we're going, and we're not slowing down. And one
Mm-hmm.
of the things that I've decided in my life is that I have to slow down. I can't just keep going, because then I can't acknowledge and see the things that needs to be addressed as you
Right.
go.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the reason why I don't do corporate America anymore is because I didn't want to go like I was going before. And I
Right.
wanted to put the things that I love in the center of my life, which is my family. So if family is center, everything else that I do is around that.
Around them.
So
Mm-hmm.
my new thing is no Saturday work, no Sunday work. And because that's the time I want to be in the kitchen laughing, joking, and hanging out with the family. That's the time when I want to be very mindfully connected to them. So it's very important that we find what works for us. And the
Mm-hmm.
reason why I mentioned that is because that's tied to trauma. Our trauma shows up in a lot of different ways. And if it shows up with you running busy, it's because you can't still. If you
Mm-hmm.
still, then these things are coming. And to the person on IG that says
Mm-hmm.
they keep coming to your mind, but that's
And
okay.
yes.
You're not to push them back. You're supposed to acknowledge them, and whatever feelings come with that emotion, go with it. If you cry, you cry. But each time you suppress it, it gets just deeper and deeper, and it's harder to work with. Why are you smiling?
I read Trinice's message.
Oh,
You
let me
haven't
see what
reached there
she
yet.
says.
Yeah, sorry.
Don't be too free like the kid that says she is fat out loud at the mall. Oh yes, that type of free is a little bit too much. Hey,
Yes.
brother
Caramel.
Ramel is here. Hey,
Hey.
Ramel. So Ramel, I want to bring this back up real quickly. We were talking about men earlier, men and what society have placed on you guys to suppress your emotions and feelings, not to cry,
Mm-hmm.
and how for a lot of men it's difficult for them to be vulnerable and express themselves. And since you are a male, I would love for your weigh in on that while we continue, because that was definitely something we brought up earlier in
Mm-hmm.
our talk. So now let's talk about this. How do we resolve this, guys? It's not going to
Mm-hmm.
happen overnight. It sure as heck is not going to happen from the great minds, just me and
Nerissa.
Nerissa having this chat. But what this chat will do, it will open your mind to really start thinking deeper about, why do I get these headaches every Monday morning? Why is
Mm.
my back constantly hurting, but the doctors can't tell me why my back hurts? Why
Mm-hmm.
is it that this? Why is it that? It will get you to start asking yourself some serious questions. So one of the questions that I have is, are you not tired of living a fake escape life? And that fake escape life is a life where you don't address your things, because because you don't want to deal with them. Somebody asked if I'm a therapist. I am a certified life coach and a hypnotherapist.
I know you haven't been on Instagram, but every Monday and every Monday morning we do our what do we do?
Inspiration Corner.
Yes, Inspiration Corner at 8:30 thereabout. And then in the evening we do Great Minds at 8 p.m. thereabout. So yes, so you can follow her at Stacy Henry-Carr. And I'm going to go ahead and put down her handle there. So you can follow her on Facebook, Instagram, and on YouTube. All right, continue.
So Raymel says, so that was my upbringing, which is, boys don't cry, boys don't do this, boys don't do that. Oh my gosh, I've heard that so much in my lifetime that it's ridiculous. That's why a lot of us women are looking for decent men and we can't find them, because they're trapped in that little boy's body. Erica says, exposure therapy, let the emotions lose the effects. Absolutely. Trinae says, do you even recognize that your life is fake? That's a really good question. The answer is absolutely not. No. Because you're just going and you keep going and going. And you have no idea that the life that you're living is not your real self until you start living your real self, and it feels so much freer and you feel so good. And then you stop really caring what people think, and you start sharing all of the things that used to hurt you. And when you share those things, other people go, oh my God, thank you for saying that, because I'm going through that, but I didn't think anybody else was going through that.
Right.
And then I find out that most of the population is going through that, but everybody is hiding it because they don't want to be judged. Right. Everybody is suppressing it because they don't want to be looked at weird or whatever. They feel shame, so people feel shame. They don't want to talk about that they were sexually abused. And then I go, well, I feel no shame. I'm sorry. I know I'm not supposed to be shocking you anymore today, cousin.
Right. It's all right. I'm getting used to it.
But I say I feel no shame saying those things because it helps somebody else. So, no, Trinae, that's my long-winded way. I'm long-winded of saying you do not even recognize you're living a fake life. But what you do recognize is how your body is responding to the life you're living. Right. Stress, tears, pain, and those things are normally a trigger that's telling you that something is not going right with the mind, or there's something you need to address. Raymel, growing up with a father who was a gang member and known in the streets, and a mother who was addicted to drugs. Now, this is vulnerability. This is what I'm talking about. You share it. Showing emotions were forbidden. I used to get whoopings when I would cry and told boys don't cry. Stop it. As an adult, I have realized I don't cry in front of others. Well, anytime you want to cry, give me a call, bud. I'm known to bring the tears out. But that's the type of vulnerability. Thank you so much for sharing, Raymel. That helps others, right? So here he is. As a man, I wanted to know, were you told that you shouldn't cry? And absolutely he was. And it's shaped him to, right now, he doesn't cry in front of other people. Just a pretty package on the outside and poop on the inside. Yep. Walking around with a whole bunch of mess. Yep.
But cousin, you have to understand it's just so hard for, people, because depending on where you grew up, you're going to be judged. And as much as a lot of people are going to say, no, it's just hard. You don't know who to trust. You don't know who you're able to be vulnerable around. So
Yes.
it's very, very hard because so many people have gotten burned, and it's just, what
Yes.
do we do? What do we
What you do is you get a professional, because if you know this is something that you want to really
do?
work on, you get a professional in your life, and start learning how to bring that stuff out, which will help you to start learning who to trust. Because
Mm-hmm.
sometimes when we're clouded, or we're living that fake life, we don't really know who to trust, because we're fake. We invite fake people in our lives.
Mm-hmm.
Fake people don't invite genuine people in their lives.
No.
They don't, because they don't know how to. And
Mm-hmm.
because we attract who we are, we're
Mm-hmm.
only going to invite people who are not genuine. That's how it is.
Right.
So, um, so the people who you share yourself with, and then they turn around and make it into something that's not, that,
Mm-hmm.
it goes against you or whatever, that's who
Yes.
you attracted. It's the same way
Yes.
we attract when, we're single and we're trying
Mm-hmm.
to date, we attract what we think. We attract who we
Ah,
are.
yes.
We may have a list.
Powerful
We may have a list of what we want from the man, but because
characteristics.
we're none of that, we don't attract that. But Raymel says, I just had a genuine cry with my coach last week, and it felt powerful. I'm learning that being vulnerable is where the true power is. A lot of
Mm-hmm.
men wear this mask of I am okay, but
Okay.
deep down they're struggling to keep it together. Most
Yes.
times, yes. And that is, for me, I psychoanalyze everybody. It's so bad I can't help myself. And so what I mean by that is I don't verbally
Mm-hmm.
psychoanalyze you. I know that whatever you are presenting to me, there is a deeper meaning behind it. And so I'm a lot more tolerant. I show a lot more compassion. I don't battle with trauma responses. So if there is if I know that the way you're dealing with me is because of past trauma, even
Mm-hmm.
though you might not have said it to me, but I know it because I can pick up the signs, I never battle with you. I literally learned to just shut up and listen to you battle with yourself. And then after that, I step away from it, because some people want your help, and you don't force your help on people. So you learn how to step away. But absolutely, I do not fight, argue, struggle with people who are responding from a traumatic place. Trauma responses are real. They show up in your lives every
Mm-hmm.
single day. So, let me see what Erica said. Erica says, poop stink. You change your behavior when the aroma is too strong.
Right.
Oh, you're killing
Right.
me. That is so true. And it comes from a lot. It comes from even people putting you at bay. When
Mm-hmm.
you realize that you can't keep people around.
Mm-hmm.
When you
Twanda.
yes,
Oh,
what
I
you
was saying,
say?
obvious behaviors that can't hide.
Yes.
Yes.
Some of them are really obvious, even
Mm-hmm.
when you're trying to hide them.
Yes.
And like Erica says, yeah, it's going to
Yes.
pop up. You're going to
Mm-hmm.
smell it, and you're going to push
Right.
people away from you. Not when you use, not when you're used to the smell. But see, as funny as this is making me laugh, it's real. Because
Mm-hmm.
if you are used to what you're doing, and it keeps
Right.
going and going and going, and it's worked for you for so long, then it really takes a professional to show you, a therapist, a
Mm-hmm.
psychologist, a coach, a mentor, whomever, somebody to help to guide you, who can truly be honest and say, yeah, no, that's not going to work, or that's not good, or
Mm-hmm.
have you tried it this way? Have you viewed it this way? Or in my case, I ask you why. So why are you doing this? And you tell me. And then I say, tell me more about why that answer is the
Mm-hmm.
answer.
Mm-hmm.
And you tell me. And then I said, go a little deeper, because that's still surface. And
Mm-hmm.
so I let you go deep, 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 until you get to the point where you say, you know what? My 8-year-old self learned how to
Mm-hmm.
shut up.
Mm-hmm.
My 5-year-old self learned not to have boundaries, because sexual abuse is, as a child, is where we learn not to have boundaries, because nobody taught us boundaries. And because of that, boundaries are out the door, and we carry that with us all through our lives, right? So it's that's when you have to dig to figure out what that is. So let me give you some tools, guys. Meditation, that's a tool. So I'm gonna run down the list, and then I'm going to talk more about them. Reflective journaling is another one. Affirmations, or what I call empathy words to yourself, because we are the worst critic, and to ourselves. We speak better to other people than we do ourselves. The words and the thoughts that go through our minds about ourselves are 9 times out of 10 worse than what you would say to somebody else. We are very harsh to ourselves. So empathy and self-affirmations, empathy statements, creative actions, whatever that is. If you like to cook and it makes you feel good, do it. If you like to draw and it makes you feel good, do it. If you like to sing, whatever that is, write, do it. Nature, being out in nature, watching the birds, whatever you like, going to the pond, looking at the ocean, watching the waves. That's a good one. Yoga, or some sort of low exercise, low cortisol exercise, a walk around your block, or just something that really puts you in a reflective, introspective way. Proper rest and sleep. Good sleep habits will really help you to work through your trauma. A lot of times when our minds are racing, we can't sleep. But if you go ahead, baby.
We sometimes need to sleep and wake up on our own, and not allow an alarm clock to wake us up.
Yes. So you allow your body. No, that's true. You allow your body to rest. And if you can do that on the weekends, it's the best thing ever. Setting boundaries about people, how people treat you, because people will only treat you the way you allow them. And if you don't set boundaries for people, they will run all over you. They'll use and abuse you without you even recognizing it. And by the time you recognize it, you only have one strand of hair left, or your hair is gray, or you got no hair. So you have to set boundaries so that you don't allow people to take advantage. It's very, very important. Erica, Trinae says, why? Absolutely. That's what I do. I ask whys. And you should ask yourself why. Ask yourself the hard question. And then when you answer it, keep going deep until you get to the layer that is the root, the real root. Raymel says, the world is in a traumatic state right now. We have a lot of hurt people trying to pass their hurt into others with negativity, judgment, and being unkind to others. If we look at the big picture, we can see 2020 has been a year of healing ourselves inside, and then we can be a better world. That is so true. Thank you so much for sharing that. That is so true. Hurt people.
Yes.
Hurt people. What is Twanza saying?
How do you find your true self after being stuck for 15 years? The age you experienced the trauma. You need to talk to my cousin.
We can have a very in-depth conversation about that, Twanza, but I will say this to you. It's not a magic pill. Getting unstuck from trauma means that you have to put in the work. And the work that I'm talking about is starting with self-awareness, being aware of that trauma that happened 15 years ago, acknowledging it, not pretending it didn't happen or it doesn't exist. That's the first step. Once, a lot of people can't even do that. A lot of people can't even come up and say, I had a 15-year ago trauma. So the first step is to acknowledge that. And once you acknowledge it and you sit with that for a moment, and I mean sit with it, tears and all, right? Then the work can really happen. Then it can happen. One of my best work, and my Trinace just put that up. one of my best work to get people unstuck is my 90-minute hypnotherapy session. And Trinace has done it. It gets to the root of it, like, quickly. But we have to find what works for us. That may work for one person, but it may not work for another person. And that's why there's so many other ways and healing modalities out there that can help people to heal, right? So I can share what I do, but that doesn't mean that's what works. And that for you, that doesn't mean it's going to work for that person. It may have worked for other people and have it. It absolutely have. I've seen wonderful results from people and myself. And Trinace says, schedule a hypnotherapy session and put in the work, because Trinace says she's done it twice. And yes, she has. She's been a client of mine twice with that. And we have had phenomenal results. And one of the ones that I did, and I can say this because it's a general one, is a money on block. I do money and success on blocks. And the things that you find that blocks you from making money is off the charts.
I can't wait for Twanza, because she has so much in her, and she just needs to get over that, and she is good to go.
and I love the way you said it. Get over it. And I don't say that to clients, please, because it nobody wants to hear get over it. But getting over it is the journey that you go on. It's climbing over it. It's moving around it. It's going on a journey.
Right.
Sometimes it's bussing through it.
Yes. Right.
Yes.
And when I had said get over, it's not just, girl, get over what you're going through, but getting over the journey, as you mentioned, getting over it. Yes.
I found some deep sleep binary beats on YouTube. Yes, there's some good ones out there, and you've been sleeping good.
You're welcome.
And be who you needed when you were younger, for others and for you.
Yeah.
Absolutely. That's so important. So these tools, the meditation, the reflective journaling, the empathy, words, creative actions, going out in nature, yoga, proper rest and sleep, and setting boundaries. These are all ways to help you to redirect your mind when the things are starting to come up. When you start feeling those emotions that triggers you to be or say or do. And then you pick what works for you. No, you're not going to do all of those in any given day. You may not want to do yoga. You may not want to do most of those. But if you pick and find one that works for you, what works for me is meditation. I do it every day. I meditate in the middle of people. People could be around me going pop, 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 pop. And my eyes are closed and I'm down for the count. I do it sitting in the car, waiting for my daughter to come out and swim in the parking lot. I mean, it is what it is, but it helps me to steady my mind. For meditation, you can use a guided meditation, meaning there's somebody doing words and guiding you, which is good for beginners. Or you can just listen to the sounds of anything. You can just be still and be quiet. And that helps too. Reflective writing, journaling, just keep in mind, nobody else has to, see it. It's yours. So you write anything you want. You pour out your feelings. You can speak to your God, whatever religion you believe in. You can talk to your guides. You can talk to the universe. Whatever you want to do, you can write it out. It's good for your inner being for reflective journaling. Some of the reflective journaling you can do is writing letters to people who you want to forgive, or writing a letter to yourself to helping yourself to forgive yourself. There's a lot of different ways you can use reflective journaling. The affirmations are affirmations that you get up every day and you affirm the opposite of the thing you're feeling, right? So if you're feeling fearful, then you have to affirm that I am loved, right? I am lovable and I love. I am brave. I am courageous. If you're feeling anxiety, then you have to affirm I am calm. I'm
Mm-hmm.
at peace, I'm at ease. So whatever it
Right.
is that you're feeling, you affirm the opposite of it by not saying, I'm gonna be calm. You have to
Mm-hmm.
affirm it in the present. And when
Yes.
you affirm it, you must really mean it, right? And maybe
Mm-hmm.
in the beginning you might not mean it, but the more you do it, the mind
More.
will start catching on. The mind will
And that
start
is
catching on.
and that is so true. One day I woke up and I was in a good mood, and then I think somebody messaged me or they sent me a voice note, and it just turned my entire day or started. And I was like, no, I'm not gonna let this cause this wonderful day to go to nothing. So I decided, all right, you know what? Today's a beautiful day. This girl, she knows nothing what she's talking about. And I just started, speaking, and then it shifts. It shifts
Yes.
back to where it was and even better.
Yes.
And on yesterday, a young girl, she stopped by to do something, and she was like, "Oh, I can't take my aunt and my mom," and she was like, "I was just at church with you, Nerissa, and it was just so beautiful, and now they come and mess with my spirit." And I was like, "Stop right there. Forget about what just happened and get back to where you were or where
Yes.
you want to be." And it worked.
Yes. Because nobody can mess with your spirit.
Yeah, right,
I can
right,
tell
right.
you straight up, nobody can
Mhm.
mess with my spirit. There is, I don't even know that you can do anything to mess with my spirit. I create my environment. I create my world. It took me a while to get here, though. So, as confident as I'm saying it, and as true as I know it to be, and you can try to rock my world if you want in a negative way.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'm going to let out the emotions of how I feel about it, but
Mhm.
my foundation is still going to be solid.
Mhm.
And that's
Right.
how you have to be. You have to create a world where your world cannot be easily rocked. And the
Mhm.
way to do that is to know that you create your day. You create what happens. You create how you feel. Saying somebody made me feel, no, they didn't. You
Mm-mm,
made you
mm-mm.
feel.
Nobody can make you.
You made you feel, right? So you have to
Right.
be mindful that you're giving away your power to other people. So Trinae says that is what I'm going to do next. Guided meditation.
Mhm.
It is the best guided meditation. And then she says singing your favorite song out loud, dancing in the kitchen, all of
Mhm.
that is a good way to up your vibration and make yourself better. I do it every day when I'm irritated and frustrated. I'm thinking she means sing out loud.
Mhm.
Absolutely. So listen, guys, as I want to, we have a few minutes and I want to say
Mhm.
this because we're in a week where we have a lot going on. And then for the next couple of weeks, a lot of us are going to be running around trying to spend money that we don't have to prepare for Christmas. That's going to last for a couple hours in the
A day.
morning, and not even a day, a couple hours in the morning, and then our bank accounts are going to cry. So with that said, there's a lot of stuff that's about to come, and
Mhm.
a lot of us are about to be around family. A lot of the trigger points may come from family
Mhm.
because a lot of our traumas sometimes happened at young ages where the lack of trust
Mhm.
happened, the disappointments happened, whatever
Mhm.
that is. And so this week can be really what I would call taxing for people and
Mhm.
uncomfortable for people. But remember this, it's just as uncomfortable as you make it. It's as
Mhm.
taxing as you create it.
Mhm.
And so when people are saying the negative things to you, remember this. Most times people are projecting on you what they're feeling about themselves.
Mhm.
Most times, 99.9% of the times. If people are happy, they tell you happy things.
Mhm.
If people are in a good mood, they tell you how great your hair looked today. They tell you
Right.
that your outfit is fantastic. They
Testing.
say
Yeah.
thank you with a pep in their step. If
Mhm.
people are in a bad mood and you say, you like my hair? They go, it's okay. With no thoughts of how that's going to make you feel. And that's
Right.
just a minor thing that I shared. But think about some of the bigger, most profound things that people can say that is hurtful. They're projecting themselves on you. And typically, when that happens, I watch it or observe it.
Mm-hmm.
In my head, I go, wow, I wonder what happened.
Right.
Like I said, I psychoanalyze, but that's just what I do. But in doing so, what it does for me is it allows me to remember that I am in control of my feelings and my thoughts and my emotions. And if I'm in control of that, there's nobody on the external of me that can rock that or change that. Not at all. And so you have to find tools that you must put in your toolbox. If it's meditation, if it's prayer, prayer and meditation kind of go hand in hand, because you pray out and ask God for help, and you meditate to hear his response. Reflective journaling, poetry, cooking, writing, drawing, whatever, nature, whatever, go for walks. But most important, while you're going through whatever you're going through this week, protect your peace, like Erica says, and remember to breathe. Take deep breaths in and deep breaths out. It helps to clear the mind. And I really want to wish all of you like happy journey on your path. And if anybody is seeking help, or if you need to talk about it, or if you need some directions on which path to go, let me know. I can assist.
Yes.
And that doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be my path, because everybody's path is different, and you have to choose what works for you.
Right.
So what do you have to share before we close out and let people
Yes.
go?
I have something to say. Of all the years of, Christmas and Thanksgiving, this is your year for a break. You deserve it, So if you cannot afford to buy somebody a gift, or if you cannot afford to, make a big meal, don't try to break the bank. 2020 is your year to relax. Don't go overextend yourself.
No.
We've been through so much this year, so it's okay. It's okay if you can just buy a card and write in there, or go to the dollar store and put something together. It is fine. Don't overextend yourself. It's okay. 2020, I'm giving you all a pass.
And it's okay to say no. No is a whole full sentence.
It's a sentence, yes.
And I'm learning that. I'm learning how to say no. I'm learning how to say I'm not interested without feeling uncomfortable. I'm learning how to say no, I can't give you that money. I'm learning how to say I can't lend you that money. I'm learning how to say all of that, because
my cousin is learning quite late, but she's learning. And where.
Yes, I am. But better late than never, right?
Never.
Better late than never. But I want you guys to be open. Thank you for saying that, Trinace. Be open to finding new ways. Be open to finding things that you can use to help you to go through the process, to go through your healing journey. Do it on your own terms. Do it in your own time. The only urgency I would put, like I said earlier, is if something is going on with you and it's taking you into a dark space. If you're in a dark space, then you need to get help right away. Seek out a medical professional. Seek out the right person to help you. But just know that your healing journey and everything that I'm here, I'm not a doctor. I am a life coach certified and a certified hypnotherapist. So if you need a doctor, you need to see a doctor, and you must know when by going how you feel, right? But happy Thanksgiving, guys. This is going to be great. There's a lot of things to be thankful for. And it doesn't have to break the bank.
Right.
It doesn't have to cause you stress. I wish you calm and ease in this holiday season.
Yay.
I really do. So thank you so much for joining. Thank you, Erica. I'll call out the Facebook, and you can call out your IG. Thank you, Erica, Trinace, Raymel was on, Angel was
Mm-hmm.
on, Loretta was on, and whomever else who might have dropped in
Mm-hmm.
without saying a word. I always know that you're there, and it is
Mm-hmm.
okay. Because one of the things that I find is that just because you're not saying anything doesn't mean you're not
Mm-hmm.
listening. And my
Right.
job is to just share and be there for you.
All
And you
right.
have?
For me, yes, I want to say thank you, Coco, Simi, Simone, Twanza. Thank you so much for being here, for participating. Leja, thank you. Young Richie. Let's see. Tanya, Nicole, Amethyst. All right. Omar Blake, Moesha for participating and being here. Rich Flavor. Thank you guys. Stephanie, Stefana, Ella Berry. Thank you all for coming in and joining and talking to us. We do appreciate your
Yes.
presence.
And I hope this helps at least one person. And if you're
Yes.
watching on the replay, thank you so much for watching. And if you're on YouTube, thank you so much for watching. And you guys have a safe, please be safe. COVID is still there. Wash your hands, wear your mask, and stay out of crowds. We still
Crowd.
don't know
Oh.
what's going on, and affirm yourself. So I'm going to affirm that today. I want you guys to repeat after me in your head. I am calm.
I am calm.
I am at peace.
I'm at peace.
And I am enough.
And I am enough. Definitely, I'm enough.
All right. Take care, guys. Have a good one.
Happy Thanksgiving. And remember to create an awesome, wonderful, fabulous week. Thank you for joining Great Minds. Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.
You know,